Assalamu alaikum, family.
Hey,
how's everybody doing out there?
Hey, I'm cooling, man. I'm cooling. How you? Can you hear me good and everything?
Eric Powell, and I'm here to get the open mic started. All right. Can everybody see and hear us out there? Respond in the chat.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Can you hear me clear? Can you guys hear me clear? Send some thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me clear. Okay. Awesome. I just wanted to apologize for the delay. Brother Eric was having some connection issues. So I just wanted to step in and introduce to you guys Brother Tariq Toure, who's actually the award-winning author of Black Seeds in Two Parts Oxygen. Tariq Toure actually just wrote a book, just has a book came out called David's Dollar, which was illustrated by Annika Sabri. Make sure you guys check that out as well. Um, and make sure you go to tariqtoure.com, where you can see his latest works, and framed prints and poems and books and things like that. So we're very, very excited and appreciative of Brother Tariq for speaking at tonight's open mic. Again, just wanted to apologize. This is a newer system that we're using, and we're all getting acclimated with this still. So without further ado, Brother Tariq, whenever you're ready to start, you have the floor, sir.
Bismillah, assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? Inshallah, I just want to make sure that you all can hear me. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق الخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. How did I get here? It was God's intentions. As far as drip, they'll say Toure always brought the water with him. I carved the lane in this game. That's a large incision. Don't know much. I can tell you what a problem isn't. Burning the stage down, not a hard decision. When my stripes, it's going to take a couple scars to get them. A 45-year open mic, no Rod and Pippin. Literary shots. We leave large and livers when every bar is a baptism. The applause is different. I'm a product of Malcolm calling out to Allah in prison. My mama Maisha moving through the mirage and prisms. Dear father, Imam Malik, show me where the art is hidden. I'm a griot out the mud. You better guard your business. Been everywhere. Grab a globe and start to spinning. But the Baltimore poets are liable to carve your kidneys just when you thought it's the last model. We enlarge the engine. So my fate is on stages, fade in anything under God's dominion. That's a fact. I say they've had the wrong opinion when the difference between us is clearly yards to inches. For the money, well, that's an odd incentive. When the smoke been free, you get your pulse paused for pennies. Forrest Gump with gumption, you better guard your winnings. I've been training my whole life to swing far in innings. I'm at bat. You think I'm going to let him catch Tariq slipping? But my name means starter. Room on Mars is plenty. Let's dig a little bit deeper. I'm from where they let the long nose ring like Rodman, with blacked out cars skirt like Scotland, and Hershey Topman. I'm at work, just watch when I get these verses clocked in. I'm a poems poet. I'm a locksmith. I hold keys from the kingdom to the coroner's office. And as important as art is, to properly perceive what was poured in this artist, we'll have to begin by exploring the coffins. The first lock I ever picked was to a funeral home. To see why so many kings were taking two to the dome, while we were recruiting the chrome. And my OG said, no way in hell could we do it alone. No matter how many times they're looping the songs. And Gregory Hines around the issue, the truth is translucent and known. So lo and behold, I was birthed and immersed in a tradition of transmitting the mission to the masses. So the muscle memory bank is lifting for the mass and lifting up the caskets so the world could never get it backwards. I'm one of them kids that flipped upon the mattress, then was told to slip up in them classes. Don't give up till it's mastered. Grip up on the masters. Mix it with knowledge yourself and switch the whip up on the masters. To only climb the mountain if it's massive. I'm a walking, talking, marching order to be a margin forcer. So I'm spitting continents and dissolving borders. I'm a pen pirate on ink oceans. Guard your water. I'm one of many oral orcas. And we've been wailing on pages since the Middle Passage poured us. Sort of. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. It is my utmost honor to be in this forum with you all. I'm happy, elated that Allah allowed us, given the conditions, to be able to come together and still share poetry, still share stories, still share pieces of our hearts. And I'm definitely happy to be alongside, some loved ones of mine. So, inshallah, please give them your utmost attention and care as they perform as well. There was a Sahaba named Abu Dujan radiallahu anhu. And before a battle, he was strutting, like hyping himself up, strutting. And Abu Dujana was very, I would say, particular to battles. And the reason is because whenever somebody saw the turban of Abu Dujana, they knew that death would fall wherever his sword fell. And so when they saw Abu Dujana's turban in any war, any battle, they would call that's the turban of death. And so as they were readying for a particular battle, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he saw Abu Dujana doing his strut. You know what I mean? He was getting his self hyped up and ready to go. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, in any other instance, in any other situation, the way he's strutting and, being boastful about what he about to do on the battlefield, that Allah would detest that act. He would be disgraced by that act of arrogance. But he said in this particular situation where there's so much on the line and the future of the Muslims is on the line, it's fine. So his display of pride was fine because there was a war going on. There has been a consistent war on black people, and there's been a protracted war on black Muslims. And so, inshallah, we ask Allah that as we continue this event, that we get the same sort of mercy that Abu Dujana got when he was going to war for the Muslims, that we are going to war to re-establish and continue to establish who we are within this land and within this world as black Muslims. So thank you for the Black Muslim Student Conference, and I pray that it lives on for many years until my children can come to university, inshallah, and go to school. This poem is dedicated to Maulana Malcolm X. I was told the truth out of season might get you killed. Well, Malcolm died in the winter, and I don't know what's colder than taking gunfire in the center of the same heart that beat like a djembe drum for his people. My Umi says they'll always come for the people who dare have the audacity to proclaim us equal. So a sentence to sudden death is yet another sequence in a sequel. Better yet, a chapter in a saga. He lays in the path of other martyrs. And I wish that this was some abstraction unthought of, that the bullets that claimed him had no name. If you know, as he knew, without a molecule of doubt, that is not the nature of this game. When his soul was placed upon this plane, he painted with his entire life as a canvas, then placed it in a frame. His soul still lingers. His soul still remains. I can taste it when it rains. But for abolition, they'll engrave your alias on ammunition and try to say the place is cold before Allah can raise your soul. But in these days, just know that his last breaths and his last steps never ended at the ballroom. February 21st was yet another pit stop in Harlem, as it was in Detroit, Chi-Town, Boston, same as Nigeria, Ghana, Egypt, Slauson. You can still feel the Malcolm in all of them. We take our lead from the prince, and then we breathe for the prince. His single pursuit was Huck, and we've been breathing it since. So send salutations to the man who died 3 times over, first as an outcast, second as a prisoner, third time as a soldier, who saw his people being crushed by the weight of the world, and placed it on his shoulders. See, something happened in that prison that's crafted every instance when a soul realizes the reality of living within this gap that we are given, that we've been masterfully hidden from the light of his dominion. And once that veil has been lifted, there's not a colonizer alive that can extinguish his flame. Severing 1,000 tongues won't make us relinquish his name. Don't let one ear of our children not hear about the man among men, about those towering shoulders as we stand upon them. Today, we let our prayers of forgiveness land upon him, because he taught us to love ourselves, that every hourglass's sands have one end. Shabazz gave us everything he had, his darkness, his light, his love, his life. And though our people still march through the night, though there are far more waters to wade in, we are armored for the fight. We are illuminated by his soul. We are awakened by his rage. And it was all written in gold with dried ink upon the page. Let the world forever know, from every sinner to every sage, that merely his body was taken on that stage. Audubon. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Our legacy here in this country sits atop the tireless work and the tireless sacrifices of ancestors who did not have a guarantee. Stop. No, stop. I'm home with the babies. They didn't have a guarantee that they would see their children and their fruit and their work with their own two eyes. And we know that ancestors prayed. They prayed deep prayers so that one day that their children would taste La ilaha illallah. And that is the same prayer that Ibrahim made. So inshallah, this poem is called the Prayer of Ibrahim. The kings of old used to pray that lineage grows, so the kingdom and kingship could keep an infinite flow. Sons, crown jewels on iron fists, infinity stones. Any slight threat to legacy equaled the slit of a throat. They'd reign for centuries off children alone. One power in your tribe, count the kids in your home. Ruled by sword and umbilical cord, or given with both. And these kings thought that they were given the most. Civilizations carried on in a cyclical flow. Dynasty after dynasty, they died defending the throne, preserving their reign with every minute they owned. And mankind's preoccupation with dominion could lead one to the opinion that if our life is measured in inches, then we've spent our lifetimes inching towards domination and dissension. Has anyone ever asked God for any different? I should mention that a black woman once ran between the mountains and the desert with an infant crying out, dried mouth, heavy setting, with no food in sight. She scouted every direction. The heat grew. They couldn't last an hour in this weather. Then outpoured a stream of water flowing in the distance. She drank her fill to stop the wailing of an infant. The well of Zamzam is born, a miracle in minutes. Hajar and Ismail survive. Her father Ibrahim was missing. And upon return from his sojourn, they would move to the place where he learned the Kaaba would be built. And his concern was that this family of theirs would one day grow to serve the Lord Most High and raise hands to the sky. For Allah to never let the light of Islam die. For as long as their lineage stays alive, on and on, for a millennia they would thrive. Not for riches piled to the mountain line, not for sovereignty over what's under the sky, but that sujood be established when he died, that the qulub be attached to the eye. He prayed for generations of prostrations, showed us how sincere Nia can turn nation, paved the path for success of seeking salvation. I'm standing here as a manifestation. We're gathered here as a representation. How is this related? Small illustration. My pops was dealing dimes a dean up on the dope strip. You can still see the lines of fiends getting their nose hit. Allah still raising our degrees. We'd never know if people like them never bent their knees and expose this reality, this path we call Islam. One single believer starts the cracking of the dam. When this nation was being built by the cracking of the lash, when Reagan was placing the crack upon our hands, those same palms were the same ones happening to have sincere prayer and sincere cries. Look within those layers within their lives, because within their lives a truth so pure it would singe our eyes. Tell me how within our time, as enemies within their lines, Allah will raise another people to defend his signs, delivering us from evil until the mission dies. Everything that's happened has happened for a reason. Every single action has mattered for this meaning. With a result of prayer mats upon the cement, the divine outcome of prayer is cast into the ether. What it means, we don't just happen to believe, but this is the purchased path of Ibrahim. For the very hands of Ibrahim, from Philly to Philistine, from Mali to Manhattan, take a look at what can happen. This path is a jewel, ain't no happening to have it. It only happens if you grab it and hold it so tight it starts to fashion into granite. And that stone becomes a mountain, and that alone becomes a fountain. And then in droves we drink the ounces. The spring that springs forth will have many stories to tell. When they ask how the children were saved, I have no choice but to point to the well. So it should be no wonder why I found God in a bean pie. I've seen kufis placed atop the heads of felons whose smiles could swallow the Mississippi. I've witnessed the crackling Morse code of Tasbih, double for a life raft. Watch Dua incinerate a suicide note. The Islam I know turned Melba the dope fiend to Maryam the philosopher, Malcolm the animal to Shabazz. Ship set sail in the name of Isa, Jesus, Jesus, prophetic nouns inscribed on the broadside of vessels, blessed by the highest councils in the land, human cargo aborted to the land, destined to turn souls into profit, with the lavender-faced children of Muhammad in its belly, back it forth on the Atlantic's throat, a mother raising her shackled hands to the heavens to beg Allah deliver his name until the famished mouths of her family fallen once again into chains. We proclaim that Shahada in the same position. Distant mother, I hope you'll see that the Adhan is the 808 drum still shaking us to the atom. That sujood has dignified our posture yet again. Know that a third of this nation's children are black like you, bold like you, regal like you. That kinked hair falls in the Qurans from valleys and mountaintops. We ain't never had a home here, but Lord knows we can turn a bando into paradise. Lord knows we can turn lemons into La ilaha illallah. This down payment, just enough for us to buy our Molana's religion in cold cash. You should see we've made space here. Baba's Arabic gorgeously broken over a southern twang. Sore Nas under a northern bebop. Can't shake the jazz out our step. Can't peel the boom bap off our lips. For us, this has always been about burning Master's house to the ground and dancing in the ashes. A stadium full of our ancestors looking on. This theology has always been about a solstice of justice, a parade of freedom marching through the soul, a return home. So one day the giver of light sees the light on our faces, sees us for our faces, and welcomes us back beyond the veil. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Thank you all so much for having me. May Allah protect you all. May Allah protect your lineage. May Allah protect your parents, your loved ones, everybody that you owe rights, everybody that has rights over you. And inshallah, please just take care and please take care of your loved ones. Take care of your loved ones and even strangers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Everybody give it up for Brother Tariq. Oh man, brother. every time you do your thing,
Alhamdulillah.
do it well. You already know, man.
Kim folk. Alhamdulillah. It's good to see you. It's light.
Everybody,
Well, know what? Light. I see all the light just beaming through. Alhamdulillah. It's good to see y'all.
just striving, man. Just striving.
Alhamdulillah. 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 Much blessings. Much blessings. Be talking to y'all soon, inshallah.
Yes,
I don't
sir.
want to hold out the program. I know y'all gotta get cooking.
Yeah.
I got the stove hot.
Difficult.
Inshallah.
Shout out to Brother Keith for holding it down with that introduction while we
Cool.
corrected on our end.
Cool. No worries. Alhamdulillah. Inshallah, we'll talk soon. We'll talk soon. Much blessings and love to y'all, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Next time.
With the little ones in